Hey, good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution. Let's adjust that a little more. There we go. Welcome to Hobby Evolution episode 591. Good morning. Welcome to a Wednesday. You may notice something different in the background. It's an old shelf, but that's going to be part of another inventory shelf as I'm these two areas. I've run out of room. Behind me, there used to be a card table, and that's where I would sort and basically just leave piles of cards on. So I wanted to get a new shelving unit, and my wife's like, "Why don't you use?" Because this is what I used to have in this room. I gave a bunch away. I gave like 4 or 5 of those away, left them on the curb, put them on the next door app, free at the curb, and then we kept another like 8. I think I even threw or recycled a couple because they were pretty bowed. And then we used a couple in the unfinished area. So I still have a couple in the unfinished area not being utilized. And I thought, hey, that's a good idea. I don't have to spend money on more shelves and easy to put together. So did a little bit of that yesterday. So now I have more inventory. It really kills the light because I only have one light bulb. As you can see, it's pretty dark in here. So I need to get some better lighting in here. So that's kind of next on the agenda. So no, I was not battling my coffee maker this morning. Actually, I was chewing on some Tums. I guess this is 40, right? Little antacid in the morning. And every once in a while I'll get, the acid reflux type stuff. And I can never really pinpoint it, but I think I did pinpoint why I'm having it this morning. I had a Diet Coke with my dinner last night at 6:30 or 7 o'clock. That's a sign you're getting old. You can't have caffeine or soda after 6 p.m. So one of the worst things to do with acid reflux, coffee. But here we go. I need it. Coffee supersedes acid reflux, and I'll fight through it. Hopefully with the help of the Tums that I chewed on this morning. So Jenny says, fighting that coffee maker. Coffee maker's been good lately. Coffee maker's been good. What is up, Victor? George, what is up? George's camera came in successfully. So congratulations. The saga appears to have come to a happy ending. So that's good. Ed, what is up? Good morning. Herman says, drip, drip. What up, Herman? Herman is en route to vacay. Safe travels. Turkey cards. Just admit you're doing your hair right now for the show, right? Finished acclimating a new beta for a new tank. You just went live and you were already peaking. Yeah. What's up with that? Probably had to run to Quick Trip to get his coffee and a waffle biscuit. TD Sports Cards, what is up? Good morning to you. Pretty boat, I see what you did there, right? Abraham, what is up? David is with us. John is with us. I had a Diet Mountain Dew at 11 p.m. last night. If you're on the road, that's probably good. I used to drink, I drank coffee late at night. Back in my college, my full-time college, full-time work days, which was only about 10 years ago. And there would be like 10, 11 p.m. trips to the coffee shop that stayed open late. And then I would get all my work done at 2, 3 a.m. And I was still wired. I remember one time my roommate at the time was, he was like a IT guy, and he worked like all day, all night. And he'd take like naps, like just crazy work schedule. But he would get a lot of his work done in the overnight hours because I think internet connections and all that stuff, he was a little more efficient. So it's like 3 a.m., 4 a.m., and I'm still wired from the coffee that we ran to get at 11 p.m. I finished my work. It's like, well, might as well clean the house. And if anybody knows me, especially at that age, that's not something that I normally did, clean. So I was vacuuming the living room at, 3 a.m., 4 a.m. Michael, what is up? Good morning in line at the Chick-fil-A. Nice. Paige, Dean E-Bean. Thank you. Paige and Dean E-Bean. Got it. Jenny, you have a lot of inventory if you're only filling. You have a lot of inventory if you're filling 4 shelves. I feel like eBay is lying to you that you only have 12K. It does seem like that. It does seem like that because I have these 2 boxes, these 2 5-row boxes are filled. Okay. Now, there's not 5,000 cards in each box, but I bet and they're sleeved. So I bet there's at least 2,500. So that's 5,000 cards. This box up here is mostly, say, another 2,000. I've got 3 smaller boxes there. I've got 2021, 2022 baseball here. That's an almost full box. 2021 Heritage Minors and 2019 combined is probably, another 3,000. 2021 debut. I've got a 5-row of new inventory here. I've got a full 4-row of football and then a little extra, and then say a 4-row and a half of baseball, and then I'm starting another box. So yeah, I think I have a lot more than 12,000, but now I'm concerned, like, is some of my stuff not listed? That's what I'm concerned about, is I've got all these cards, but are some of these getting deleted? Because just optics, just got to be 25,000 cards here. So that is a concern. And I do have significant amount of variation listings, so I don't know if that goes into the count. I should probably look into that now that you bring that up. Because, yes, I have way more than 12,000 cards in my what I think is my eBay inventory based on what I have here. Let's see. Dan says, I think a military colleague will be able to pick some root beer for me on the base so I can have a root beer float party for one of my classes. They don't sell that in stores here. That's something I haven't had in a long time. And I went on a bender once of root beer floats. Every once in a while, I'll get a kick like that. Got into a kick, and it was in the last house. For some reason, I can remember these odd things, that it was at the other house we lived in. So it would have been at least 5-6 years ago. I was on a Moscow Mule kick for a short period of time. That was also at the other house. Cliff, what is up? Good morning to you. Herman went through 3 5-hour energies and countless coffee and Mountain Dews, driving straight home from Texas. Dan going to be scrapping the freezer, burn off the Neapolitan tub. I can taste it already. Let's see. Jenny says, I created a concern. No, well, it's something that I need to look into, because you didn't create the concern. You brought the concern to my attention. I probably brought the concern on my own. I can blame eBay, but in the end, it's my own fault for not double checking. So I'm going to look into that today. I need to get a few 5-row boxes. That's the only boxes I haven't been able to find around here. There are even 4-row boxes are difficult to find in stock. I have so many. I've been consolidating a lot, and then when I buy, and a lot of the stuff from Goodwill, and I'm going to go through some of the cards I found in Goodwill last night. There was some good stuff, and I just randomly went through some small boxes. But there's a lot of 4 and 5-row boxes that I acquire in those, and then I'll consolidate. Either cards get thrown away because they're in beat up condition, or they just get bulked out. And when I bulk them out, I'll put them in just random Amazon boxes or the eBay boxes that I bought, through their supply store. So I'll just, put them in those, or, old flat rate boxes. Let's see. Jenny, that's a great idea with picking 5 random cards and checking against active. That's a good idea, because there are some like 2018 Bowman, and I know that some of them, like probably in 2018, and I don't have too many. But I do know there's probably some that are not listed, because that's how I came across during his peak, his hobby peak, Ohtani. I found 2 Topps Chrome rookie cards that were probably in my eBay store at one time for $2 or $3, but these two cards were not listed. and I was able to sell them for $50 during his hobby peak last year. So that was a situation where it was a good thing that inventory was not listed. Cliff says, when I lived up north, there was a frosty top that had the best floats. We had a frosty top where I grew up. I think it was called, maybe it was just the frost top. But it was, I know it was a big thing when my mom was in high school, because it was like one of those, 60s drive-ins, 60s, early 70s drive-ins. And then I think it might have changed to the Tasty Freeze, and they've all got, and then there's a lot of these small towns have like their ice cream shops, but they're like just a play on dairy, like the Dairy Dream or the Dairy King. We didn't have any of that. Like we did have an ice cream shop in my town. Somebody in here, or maybe it was on Twitter, said you need to go to the Corner Coop, which is in my town. I'm not a big sweets guy. So I don't think I've ever gone to the Corner Coop. For anybody that's familiar with the Corner Coop in Anawan, Illinois, probably none of you. But it used to be, when I was in high school, it was called the Sugar Shack, which sounds a lot cooler than what it actually was. It was just an ice cream shop. But we had, my friends in high school worked there. And so like at night, like right before closing, they would let us create our own concoctions. So they had one of their signature acid reflux is killing me this morning. One of their signature drinks, ice creams, was called the Shack Freeze. And it was basically a slushie. And so I liked the lime, the green Shack Freeze. But when you put ice cream in the Shack Freeze, it was amazing. So I called it the Shack Foo because I liked Shack. So I just ripped off the name. Green Shack Foo is what I enjoyed. The Sugar Shack. Let's see. TD Sports Card says, true. I have almost triple my cards listed because of the multiple counts and variation listings. I bet that's why. I bet that's where it's coming from, because a lot of these, and now that I think about it, I have a lot of lots. So like the 20, I mentioned the Pro Debut, the Heritage Minors, and the Heritage Minors, the 2019 and 2021. Those are all player lots of about 15 cards each. So that's only going to count as one listing on eBay. Those are most of my lots, and I have a couple other random lots besides those 3 sets. So that's going to take into consideration. And if variation listings are only counting as one listing, then obviously that's where a lot of it's coming in. So very well could be that I have, 60,000 cards, 70,000 cards on eBay, but only 12,000 listings. ATX Treasure Chest, what is up? Good morning to you. Let's see, my mouse scrolled too far. Jenny says, I believe, don't quote me, if you go to the website on computer and into your store, that way it will tell you how many total active you have with variations, multiple quantity included. Oh, and that's another thing. Quantity, yeah. I have 180 Mike Singletary 1984 tops. Let's go into, let's see. Ooh, what's inventory in the eBay store? Welcome to the new inventory experience. Same features as before. The new inventory experience provides the same features from the classic page. The new interface makeover is advanced, intuitive in design, and user-friendly. Save to inventory, create products and templates, and sell again quickly and easily. I have not taken advantage of the inventory experience. Has anybody else? That's interesting. Let's go to active. And let's see. But yeah, I would assume that would have to be. Now, lots, it probably doesn't have lots. Like my 2021 Heritage Miners, a lot of 15, because that's just going to be one active listing, and it's not a quantity. So eBay, wouldn't be able to do that. So these are just active listings. Just says I have 12,306 active listings. Let's see. Formats are just fixed price. All that stuff. All statuses. That's just status. There's got to be, like you said, there's got to be a way somewhere in here that you can find it. But I'm not finding it right off the top. So let's go back into the chat. Should I load the camera up with a roll of 200 ISO or 400 ISO tomorrow to test it out? I'm thinking 200. Go 200. I have no idea what that means. But since you say 200, I'll say 200. Victor, the rookie card specialist, good morning to you. TD says, buy your 5 rows in bulk from BCW. It's easy to make an account. I'm ordering some bulk 2-row graded boxes in a few days. I do have a wholesale account from BCW. Probably going to be putting an order in for card savers, and I'll probably look at boxes just to have some on hand, so I don't have to take the time to consolidate. And some of the old beater boxes, I can just throw those into the bulk sales that I do. I used to love the 4-row, and I prefer the 4-row boxes as opposed to the 5 rows. Herman says he loved the 4-row boxes because they would hold top loaders, but I've noticed the newer ones now are really tight. Yes, they are. Because I would put previously when I did my dollar boxes, I would use top loaders. Card savers, they won't fit no matter. But the top loaders, yes. Some of the older boxes, they will fit. The new boxes, it's really tight. And then once you get into the middle, it starts protruding. Zach is with us, but no chat. Have a great day. You as well. Herman takes a vacation after one Hobby Hotline episode. I'm going to touch on that as well. Talk a little bit about what was discussed on Hobby Hotline last night. Herman, are you on AirPods or is your whole family listening to Hobby Chat this morning? Hopefully, Herman's got his earbuds in. Hopefully, Herman's got his headphones on, and he's not. His family doesn't have to listen to me drone on about baseball cards. ATX says, I've seen 4-row boxes on eBay, 25 for $100 shipped recently. I'm not sure what the updated price on BCW now. This pricing is going to be wholesale, so you do have to have a wholesale account. Oh crap, I've got to sign in. I like just saving all my stuff so I don't have to sign in all the time because I use different passwords and then I forget. And then, maybe it did save. Let's see. I did put remember me, and I'm not a robot. Let's see. Sign in. Okay, we are in. Let's take a look at card boxes. Trading card boxes. Let's see. They got the real fancy plastic ones. Here's the smaller ones. Scrolling down. Shoebox. 3,200 count box. Looks like the 4 rows at wholesale on BCW are $2.58 each. That's the wholesale price when you buy 25 for $2.58 each. But you do have to pay shipping on top of that, unless you put an order in of over $1,000. So if you're going to order $1,000 in supplies, it's a pretty good deal. Herman says, Victor, do you have the link for the Hall of Fame results? I did watch that. I'll just share my thoughts on that as well. Herman does have the AirPods in. That's good. ATX says we have a place called the Sugar Shack in a little town outside of Austin. Isn't there a Sugar Shack in Lake Geneva? Not an ice cream joint, though. Right, Ricardo? Right? That's the big joke was the Sugar Shack. Are you sure it's just ice cream? Paige and Deanie Bean just picked up roughly 70,000 baseball cards for about $33 per 5K box. Cards from the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and the 10s. Took 2.5+ months to work on sorting. It can be a big hassle. Yes, it can, the sorting. Michael says teaspoon of baking soda with water to kill acid reflux or vinegar with water. Thank you. I will check that out. Because it's still just sitting there. The Tums hasn't kicked in yet. We have to realize how much Topps dropped the ball for no Suzuki rookie in Series 2. The publicity they are missing for it being release date, and Bo isn't excited because of no Suzuki. Yeah. I don't know how excited I would be for Series 2 anyway, even with Suzuki. Like, it's just, I would be excited to pull a Suzuki card. But in the end, it's not Bowman by any stretch of the imagination. So I really wouldn't get that much excited. There would definitely be more excitement if it was a strong rookie class. Then I would be excited. But we'll just have to save that excitement for Topps Update. And so I want to talk about that, and I want to share my thoughts on. I better write this stuff down because I'm going to forget all the stuff that I want to talk about. Series 2. What else did I say I want to talk about? I can't remember. Oh, the Hall of Fame vote. Okay, so where are we at? Paul Carl Cards is with us. Good morning to you. TD says that is true. It's in your amount listing max and dollar max. It won't factor in lots. Oh, yes, you can find also there, TD. Forgot about that. Click on summary. Okay. Let's see. Victor posts the Baseball Card Hall of Fame. There's the results, the video to the results. Check your monthly limits on your overview page. Tells you it does, but it's not accurate because it's like a running number. And it's going to be less accurate today because it's only June 8th. So by the end of the month, it'll be more accurate because I bet my listing summary now says I've only used like 1,000 of my listings. Let's see. Going to the selling page. Slow computer. So here's my. It says I've used 3,307 fixed price insertions, 0 of my store subscription listings. So based on how much listings I have, it says I have 3,307, which is far from the truth. But that'll go up every day of the month, and then by the end of the month, it'll be a more accurate depiction of listings. But that's only going to be listings. So variations doesn't count as part of your insertion listings. Let's see. Is that car rental place like Craigslist? Some guy going to stab me after I hand over the money? So Dan is asking about Turo. No, it's actually it's basically like hands free. And I mean, I guess they could stake you out and be hiding in the corner, but I think that's unlikely to happen. I haven't heard of any Turo killers. There could be. There's a Craigslist killer. There's a Tinder swindler. There could be a Turo killer. I don't know. That's a risk you're going to have to take, Dan. I'm 1 for 1. I have not been killed in the one time I used Turo. So I'm batting 1,000. I successfully rented a car through Turo without being murdered. I take that as a win. So yeah, it's basically like Airbnb for cars. It's not like I wouldn't consider it. Craigslist is pretty antiquated. I would say it's more in line with Airbnb, even Uber. I mean, it's very the platform is similar to Uber because everybody's got to be vetted. They've got to provide like all the insurance. It's not just like a rogue, like the serial killer from down the street is gonna rent out his car and murder you. It's a little more streamlined and safe. So you'll be good. Turo, Turo. I've only used it once. I'm still alive. Don't worry about some guy stabbing you. Everything's handled electronically. You don't have to fork over cash. You just pay with your credit card through the app, kind of just like Uber. If you've ever used Uber, Lyft, Airbnb, I've never used Airbnb, I don't think, but I'm sure that's the same way. You just pay online through the app with a credit card. Then it's through the platform. It's not like you're giving some random dude on the internet your credit card number. It's through the platform. So, and then they get paid through the platform. So it's safe. I can't guarantee you won't get murdered, but chances are pretty good you won't get murdered. Cliff says, I'm working on a 91 Fleer set. All the 91 Fleer have come out of Fairfield boxes from Walgreens. I'm about 200 cards short. Last few boxes I bought didn't have 91 Fleer. I may need some help. I could probably fill about 77 sets of 91 Fleer. The issue is finding them because they're all over the place. Let's see. Where are we at? ATX is 25 for 101.66 right now. Best I see shipped. So that's about $4 a box shipped. But now if you get the wholesale pricing through BCW, but you only buy 25, you're going to pay shipping, and shipping is going to be pretty outrageous, and it's going to take you over $100. Because it's going to be what, 25 times 250 is about $75. It's probably on 25 monster boxes. It's probably going to be like $40 through BCW. I could actually, let's calculate, because I did this calculation for somebody. Oh, I've got to update my card. I had something in there previously. I had monster boxes in here previously. Let's remove those. And let's do 25. View and edit cart. Is that going to work? Oh, nope. 25. Shipping was pretty crazy. Why is this not updating? It's still not updating. Let's go back into the cart. Let's edit the cart. Still, Jesus. Okay, BCW site is, okay, there we go. Now you have to update it, view and edit. There we go. So it's $74.50. Again, this is wholesale through BCW. We're going to go to checkout to estimate the shipping and tax. And again, this is if you have a wholesale account. But shipping is pretty outrageous. Yes. Okay, I was way under the mark. The cheapest shipping on 25 is $81.92. Jesus. So you're going to pay about, if you're only buying boxes, 25 boxes, it's going to be about $150, $155. Actually, and that's with a wholesale account, you don't have tax. So it's about $155. But you can get free shipping on orders over, I think it's either $1,000 or $1,500. So let's clear that card out. So there you go. So 25 for 101.66. That's a good price. Herman, don't order over $1,000 in supplies. Your bride probably won't be happy. Not spending that much on supplies. I'm saving up for my next plane ticket. There you go. Let's see. George says, you want to talk about Yachty? Go ahead. We're listening. I hate Yachty or Molina. On your selling page, go to bottom left. That's where it says you can list up to X amount and X dollar amount and states how many you have used. That's where it's only saying I have 3,300, which is not accurate. Monthly limits, it's under. Mine is bottom left. You were looking at promotional offers. Oh, okay. Let's see. Okay, so we're going to go back. Selling page bottom left. Okay, I'm on the selling page bottom left. Monthly limits. So my monthly limits, it says 18,707 listed. So I think that's probably a little more accurate. So that's with variations and cards, because a lot of these, like these three of the 4 boxes up there are lots that won't be tied into that. So that's a lot more. So yeah, that's probably accurate. Let's see. Good morning to Johnny Boy Cards. Where's your next plane taking you? Herman, good question. Chicago 2023. All right, that's the national next year. Good morning to Dan. Let's see. The other Dan, Korean Cardboard, says, yes, Herm, 2023. George says, also no photography tomorrow. Damn rain coming. We've got rain all day today. I think it's raining right now. Plane tickets will probably be $1,000 round trip by then. I think they'll be, I don't know. I've been wrong so much. I want to say they'll be cheaper. Actually, I'm still monitoring flights to Philadelphia, and they've actually come down a little bit from where they were at a week or two ago. Let's see. It actually, today's Wednesday. Tuesday and Wednesday are the best times to buy flights, unless you're a frequent flyer. Then you don't have to worry about all that, Mr. John Keating. who I don't think is in the chat. Let's see, July, 27th through the 31st. Let's see where the ticket prices are at. Go nonstop. That's what I've been. Okay, so they're still hovering around $600. But they were actually well over 600 about 2 weeks ago. So a little better. Jenny says, what's the word on the National this year? Folks, I see a huge down in turnout gas over $6 per gallon now. The vendor's going to be having a hard time taking inventory unless it's $300 plus cards. It's not going to be a dealer. All the vendors will be there because they're booked and paid for. And I mean, they're all going to have, if you're setting up at the National, you're not going to be worried about travel expenses. I mean, it's going to be a concern. But it's not going to prevent you from setting up at the show. It's going to be preventing, the random collectors that don't want to fork over $1,000 to $2,000 on travel expenses. Will be interesting to know how many bring bargain boxes to the National this year. The Singles Club will be there, my favorite booth at the National. Safe at Home Sports Cards, Ed says, I'll be there, so the more bargain boxes, the better. Why do you have no tax on a wholesale account? It's just the no taxing, and I have to pay sales tax through my retail license through the state. TD says you want to buy about 4x their retail amount to kind of break even between wholesale versus, say, 25 retail to bring your cost average down. Most definitely. And that's why I'm buying, when I'm placing orders, I'm buying over $1,000 in supplies. Victor is not a fan of Molina either. He is my least favorite player of all time. Probably all sports. I'm gonna go out on that limb and say Yadier Molina is my least favorite sports player of all time. And then people are gonna start dropping names in the chat, and I'm gonna be like, okay, maybe not. Maybe he's third least. Card Hobbyist, what is up? One of the best things I like about buying a bulk monster box in the card show is I get a free box. Well, that's the thing. When I had the opportunity, I had that deal I can get this really good box for $300, but I have to take all this other stuff. And it's like, I don't want the other stuff. And, I was promoting the card show, so I couldn't leave 15 monster boxes full of cards for the hotel crew to clean up. So I was either going to have to take home 150,000 junky cards that I didn't want, or toss them in the dumpster and keep the boxes. And I considered that. I considered dumping, and I actually went through, and there were good cards. There were Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith. It was basically all 90s football, which I think is really junky. If it was baseball, I would have taken it home for sure. Football, no. Fortunately, one of my dealers, the last dealer to leave, he owns a card shop in Baraboo, Wisconsin, and Bullfrog's cards in Baraboo. And I talked him into taking them, and he's like, okay, yeah, I'm going to open up another room in the shop, and it'll be kind of the bargain box so people can sit and dig. And so this will be good inventory for that. So he was able to get 150,000 football cards just for loading them up on a hotel cart. And I didn't have to deal with them. But I considered it just for the boxes, just as Dan said, just for the boxes alone, it would have been worth the hassle. But I didn't want the hassle at that moment in time. Quick update on my local card show. They let kids under 12 in for free, $5 for everybody else. I think that's good. I like that. I like that plan. I think $5 is expensive for a small show, but kids for free is good. Let's see. TD answers Jenny's question about taxes. Let's see. What will vendors bring? Only smaller quantity, bigger value. How do vendors get inventory there on the plane? Ship it, drive it? All of the above. All of the above. So there will be plenty of bargain box dealers because they have the quantity to make it work. A lot of the dealers are from the East Coast, so it's an easy drive. Well, it's not an easy drive anywhere on the East Coast, I don't think. But it's not like they're driving cross country. But I think a lot of dealers will probably drive in. West Coast dealers, I would imagine, are flying. I don't know how they handle the inventory aspect. I don't know. That's a good question for the West Coasters. Jenny says, I'm a fan of Molina selling for decent on eBay. He actually does sell pretty well. I can move Yadier Molina cards. He's got that fandom. He's loved and hated at the same time. Card Hobbyist says, true, I can't stand Tom Brady, but I like finding his cards. Cliff says, can't you take them to a children's hospital? Let the kids have them? No, not children's hospitals only take like brand new sealed wax. They do not take old, musty, smelly, stinky cardboard cards. Herman says, Bo increases the value of junk wax every time recycle day rolls around. A little bit of truth in that. Michael Hill, I got a card in the mail yesterday that was packaged in something called a shipping shield, essentially a well-designed cardboard sleeve. Have you heard of these, and what's your opinion? Yes, I have. I have heard of shipping shields, and there's another, what are they called? Like armor guards or arma sleeves, I think is what they're called. I think they're cool. I don't use them, and I don't, because I don't want to pay the premium for, a sleek new product. So what I use to protect, if I have, here's the bubble mailer from our buddy John Keating. So what I'll do is, if I sell, basically, it doesn't really depend on price. If it's, say it's a $150 fancy card, what I'll do is I'll cut this bubble mailer, I'll cut it in half, and then I will put the card in a card saver or top loader inside a team bag, and then I'll probably put cardboard around it, and then I'll put it in half of this bubble mailer, and then I will put it in a fresh bubble mailer and ship it out that way. So I create my own little shipping shields. But hey, if you don't want to mess around with recycling or reusing, I guess is the more proper term. I get it. Having a bunch of old bubble mailers around might not have space for it, whatever. But it works for me, and if that works for other people and it works for Shipping Shield, they're making some good money on it. Good for them. Paper recycling place near me gives me a penny per pound for cars. Carload gets you about $40. It's not bad. Better than throwing them away. Maybe I look into doing that. I mean, I could probably fill a carload with stuff I'm throwing in the recycle bin. Some seller used some sleeve to ship, and I have to ding the card just to get it out of the plastic sleeve they put it in. It would have helped if the card was in a loader. One of the perks of running a food pantry is I always have plenty of cardboard to reuse for shipping cards. Most definitely. That's a perk, especially when you're going through, like the BCW boxes, especially when I'm getting, bubble mailers, top loaders, card savers, all the cardboard that's shipped in helps for that as well. All Cardinal cards sell pretty well, I think. The Cardinals have a decent fan base. They're up there in cards that move. So let's talk Series 2. Series 2 is out today. Today's release day. I'm not excited. I'm never excited about Series 2. So it's not that the rookie class in Series 2 sucks, that it's just another release to me. I get excited for Series 1 just because it's Series 1 and it's the first product of the year. So I get excited for Series 1. Series 2 does nothing for me. Never has. And I think a big part of that is because there's just not an exciting rookie class ever in Series 2. And I say ever. That's not the case. What was Pete Alonso and Vlad Jr., Tatis maybe in Series 2 a couple of years ago. So I think 2019 Series 2 was a decent year, but you look at the other Series 2s from other years, it's just kind of like blah. And especially, I mean, we can look back now and it's always going to be blah, but it's never excited me. 2015, you were excited for Series 2. Was Chris Bryant in Series? I think he was an update. Wasn't his rookie in 2015 in Topps Update? I know Topps Update was pretty stacked with rookies. But I I, 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 I don't think I was. 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 I don't because I was not really big into I was big into the hobby. Um, but I wasn't I wasn't buying a lot, I guess. Chris Bryant, Tops update. Yeah, he does not have 2015 Tops number 616. He was in Series 2. Yeah, for some reason I wasn't excited for that. I don't know why. Tops update, I think there's always a lot of excitement because that's just kind of been home of the rookie card. That was Bowman saying back in the 90s, home of the rookie card. That's kind of what Tops update has been. Now, and there's a comment that I want to follow up with. TD Sports Card says they dropped the ball in Series 2. And I think the optics are, yes, it does look like that. But here's my thought process. I think it was beyond Tops's control not to put these rookies in because they were the print deadline was so far back because of all, and we know that to be the case. I mean, look at how many products are delayed. And especially across the board with, other companies, or Tops isn't in bad shape as Upper Deck, Leaf, Panini, where, I'm sure Tops is spending a lot more money on printing cards than the other companies. But look at how many products are being delayed from those. I mean, even Panini Prism Football, 2021 just came out. 2021 Prism Football. So look at all those delays. So how far back to get a product on time in this era, in this time that we're in? How early is that print deadline to get, okay, this is what we have to send to the print. And we don't know if say something happens, say Bobby Witt Jr. tears his ACL in spring training. The deadline to get him in, it's like, well, we know Bobby Witt Jr. was going to be on an opening day roster. No, he didn't. Now when that print deadline could have been in November, and we didn't know that Bobby Witt Jr. would make an opening day roster. It was assumed, but until he hits that opening day roster, nothing's a guarantee. He could, many things can happen that could prevent that from happening. So I don't think it's Tops dropping the ball. I think it's just the times we're in, it was not, they couldn't make it happen. Plus, why would it would basically be, what's the saying? Cutting off your nose to spite your face, or whatever that saying is. Because moving them to Tops Update sells them less product. Because Tops Update is, and I don't know what the exact print runs are for Series 2 and Tops Update over the years, but you're going to get more. Say Bobby Witt Jr. is a rookie in Series 2, and Julio Rodriguez and Spencer Torkelson. If they have rookie cards in Series 2, you're also able to move factory sets, because the factory sets are based on Series 1, Series 2. No Tops Update. What's going to carry the factory sets? Nothing. Just like last year. What carried last year's factory sets? There wasn't really a rookie that carried any of them. So holding them back for Tops Update actually hurts them. If it was, if it was, and that's another reason why I don't think it was purposeful to leave out these rookies and hold them back, because right now it does nothing for Tops to hold these guys back in products, because we know they're going to get a rookie card at some point. When is it going to be? If you continue to hold them back, you're selling less product, because, if they don't make Allen and Ginter, that'll help. And Allen and Ginter's not a product where you're chasing rookie cards. It definitely helps. It helps sell boxes and packs. So if you continue to hold these guys out, it only hurts. That's why they held back Wander Franco, because if they put him in Tops Update, they're hurting themselves, because they're not selling many products in 2021, because Wander Franco is going to be limited in what products he's in. You put him in Tops Update, and he's in what? Maybe Tops Chrome Update, and what else is released that late? archives, heritage high number. You're getting them in maybe like a retail release like Fire or Gallery. You're getting them in a few products, but you're not getting them in those hard hitting products. So if you hold them back for Series 1 in 2022, now here we've got our poster boy for 2022 rookie cards, Mr. Wander Franco, and he's going to drive every product in 2022 where he'd only drive a couple products and a couple of the lower selling products. So I don't think it was Topps, saying screw you collectors, we're going to hold these guys back for Topps Update, because it doesn't make them more money. It hurts them. It actually hurts them, from making more money. So I'm going to go to the chat. So TD says, yeah, 2019 Series 2 was good. Good morning to Diego. Card Hobbyist says he still has a hanger of 2019 Series 2 in a drawer. I was excited for Series 2 till all the videos about the checklist killed it. 3B collection. Herman says Topps holding all the rookies for update, hoping for the next Mike Trout. Circling back to your inventory, I think I've noticed if an item goes unpaid, it doesn't auto relist or goes into my unsold category. That's interesting. TD Sports Card says Panini royally screwed up these last 6 months. I mentioned on Hobby Hotline last night that it's probably a supply chain issue. They probably didn't have enough for the Series 2 print run they wanted. Update is going to have a huge print run. That's going to be the big question. Will it have a huge? I don't think it will. I don't think the production is going to increase. Look what Bowman mega boxes we see. They're still in stock on Target.com. I ordered 6 more boxes last night. So at least as of like 9 p.m. last night, you could still buy mega boxes of Bowman on the Target website. So people, when they hear that, they automatically think, oh, it's overproduced. It's not. Look at last year. Last year, you couldn't get it. I couldn't get it. And I stalked the vendor, not literally, but I was hopping from Target to Target looking for mega boxes, and I didn't find a damn box last year. I had to buy them on the secondary market for $40 a pop. And the print run this year is the same, almost identical print run to last year. People cry overproduction. It's not overproduction. There's less demand for the product. That's what it comes down to. There's less demand. They produce the same amount, similar amount. So I don't think there's going to be an increase in production on Topps Update, because I don't think they have the capacity at this point in time to increase print runs massively. I just don't think there's enough capacity. Let's see. Jenny says Fanatics dropped another Prism but exclusive orange parallels. Mike, this baseball card life is in the house. What is up? Good morning. Why not add update cards to future factory sets? I think that would be cool. I think that would be a great idea. I don't know how difficult that would be, because they keep pushing. When is Topps Update releasing? I think it's not releasing until like November or December. So that would really push back factory sets. So it would be difficult to get those in, because by the time they would hit store shelves, it'd be time for the next year's Series 1, unless they could bump up the dates of when Topps Update releases. But I think that would be cool. I know it was talked about on Hobby Hotline last night, which I'll kind of segue in. We'll just kind of bounce around. But great discussion last night. Check it out, Hobby Hotline. Mostly talking about Beckett. But I think this was touched on as well, like Topps Update / Topps Traded. And back in the day, like I think we were all nostalgic, and that's another thing about Hobby Hotline last night, where in one of the chats, somebody mentioned, wow, people really wanted to talk about Beckett last night. And I think it's the nostalgia factor that drives it. Like, I don't buy Beckett magazines. I'm rarely on the Beckett website. I only go to the Beckett website to update my card show listings on their card show calendar. I don't use any price guides. I rarely, and I mentioned this in the chat last night, I'm rarely seeing Beckett slabs in person at card shows. Like, I never see Beckett slabs. And I never's a strong word. I rarely see Beckett slabs. So I really have no interest in Beckett, but I do at the same time, because it's nostalgia for me. It's like I and many of us in this chat grew up reading Beckett magazine, and I think what was the best point made was Chris Harris, Stale Gum, talked about revamping the magazine. And I know Ryan is of younger age; he's in his mid-20s, and you know, the younger generation doesn't read. Hell, my generation, and I'm 40. I'm a man. I'm 40. We don't read, generally speaking, magazines. I love magazines. I love reading the newspaper, holding it in my hand. My wife reads books on like a touch screen on her iPad or whatever it is. I think it's the iPad. I can't do that. I have to go to the bookstore, and actually I go, if you read books, go to Goodwill or a thrift shop. You can get some damn good books, some even fairly new, in like within the last year, some depending on when they're donated. I get good books for like $1, $2. Popular books, like not just random crappy books, like business books, which can be expensive and new. But I have to actually physically hold a book to read it. It's just, I don't know. It's set in my ways. I like reading the old-fashioned newspaper. I don't do it enough. But I like holding. I still have a subscription to a magazine. Nerd alert, Pro Wrestling Illustrated. I would subscribe to Beckett magazine. When I go, say I'm in Barnes and Noble and I go to the magazine section, I pick up an issue of Beckett, and I'm like, man, I'm going to buy a Beckett magazine. It's like $10 now, which it's kind of sticker shock on all magazines now, but I get it. Like it's kind of a dinosaur. But I start flipping through the Beckett, and it's like, I don't care about price guides. It's so antiquated, and I don't like it. Just doesn't interest me. Why can't Beckett be more of a Sports Collector's Digest? And then you say, well, why don't you subscribe to Sports Collector's Digest? I never pull the trigger. I actually got a card in the mail because I subscribed a couple years ago. Have a card in the mail. It's like, I'm going to subscribe, and then I never do. But if it was Beckett, I would. And Chris Harris last night brought up a good point. Like, make it, I think he likened it, somebody likened it to like, I think Herman might have, Cigar Aficionado. If they do like lifestyle articles and public interest or personal interest or whatever it's called, personal interest stories. You can do product pre-release previews because you get the information from the companies far in advance that it's going to, your print run isn't going to be, it's not going to be past print run. But you can make great content. Do a history. I keep all of my old baseball card magazines because I love reading back and do like, and it doesn't have to be a big section, but a page or two of this day in the hobby. 25 years ago, we were craving the 86 Donruss rated rookie Jose Canseco. But I think that would be great. Just a little bit of everything. And how about no prices? Like I think that's probably why people aren't buying it, because they don't, there's going to be some people that like carrying around the price guide, but I don't know. That's my line of thinking. I would be a Beckett magazine subscriber if it was completely revamped, much like Chris Harris mentioned on Hobby Hotline last night. David says, from a positive public relations point of view, wouldn't it make sense for Topps to issue a statement telling collectors reasons players are in or out of the Series 2 checklist? 100% agree. Yes. That's been my biggest complaint probably with Topps, is their non-transparency. Even if they came out with a statement that says, because I understand some of it's privileged information, that they can't release some information, but if they came out and said, we can't speak to that because it's privileged business information. Okay, cool. Now, if they start using that excuse on lame questions, like, why is that privileged information? That's silly. But at least some, they just dodge the questions. Are they ever answering any questions? They're never responsive on social media. The social media at Topps is pathetic, and that's not a slight at the person that runs it. because I know it goes beyond their head. It's, I'm sure there's a social media director that's in a suit somewhere at the office saying, don't be social on social media. I don't know, but it's pathetic. So yeah. Jenny says, I don't think Topps puts out statements like that because people would rip them apart no matter what they said. Probably. But still, like, you're a big business. You gotta take those, in stride. TD says that would make sense, David, but that's too easy to communicate with your customers. Right on. Herman says if Witt and some of the other rookies had made the checklist, Topps Chrome prices would have been through the roof. They were already through the roof. Can you imagine paying the prices? I don't know what Topps Chrome pricing was, but I mean, surely it's still pretty high, because you can't come back too hard and be like, well, we pre-sold a case at 5,000. Now we're going to drop it to 2,000. I'm going to go to Blowout and see. It's funny how the coupons drastically decreased in the last couple years. So 2022 Topps Chrome. What do you think? Let's see. That's 12 box hobby case. So 12 boxes. What do you think a 12 box hobby case of Topps Chrome? Just real quick. Let's see if anybody guesses. 12 box 2022 Topps Chrome 12 box case pre-sale price. What do you think that's going to run? So I'll give you 30 seconds. Don't cheat. Don't look. TD says Prism Football should have been out in November last year. Abraham says I can't stand Yachty either and usually trade mine, but I love catchers, so I have a couple of his inserts in my PC. Jenny says yes, demand houses last year. You couldn't get offers in fast enough this year. They are taking an average of 26 days to sell. We're in factory sets at the end of the year, released in the past. Yeah, pretty much. They in the past, they kind of came out around the same time. Topps Update usually came out in September. Topps Update's now been coming out in like November, December. And now the factory sets are coming out before Topps Update. It's kind of flip-flopped. So, okay, so we've got some guesses. Cliff says 2,500. Pepino Man, what is up? He says 100. Ed says 3,400. You are all significantly low, especially you, Pepino Man. Significantly low. Right now, a 12-box hobby case, pre-sale 2022 Topps Chrome, $5,000. $49.99.95. $49.99.95. $5,000 for a hobby case of 2022 Topps Chrome pre-sale with likely no Bobby Witt Jr., Torkelson, all those rookies, where you're paying $5,000 for a case of Topps Chrome for O'Neal Cruz and Seth Beer. Let's see. Jenny says, I buy Beckett, and anytime I speak of it online, I get ripped for thinking Beckett has anything to do with the hobby. So I personally hate Beckett talk online. I would love to have Beckett's to read the articles, but the price point is too high because of the 200 pages of prices. Exactly. Like, I want to read the content and not the prices. Jenny says a pallet of books from Goodwill is Bo's next big buy. That's actually, Jenny, that's a thing. I had a friend who did that. And I told him, I'm like, dude, books don't really sell. That's a hard resale. Books, that's why you can go to the Goodwill and buy them for $1 or $2, even new books. But yes, you can buy about anything in wholesale from Goodwill, like used stuff. And yes, wholesale books from Goodwill is actually a thing. That was in Texas, by the way. I don't know if I'm sure. I mean, books are everywhere. You can get books everywhere. So I'm sure. I bet every single Goodwill store in America could offer a pallet of books at some point, probably once a month, with as many books are being donated. In fact, I'm a hoarder, and when we were reorganizing our unfinished area, I've got stacks and boxes and boxes of sports books and other books. And, I finally let's just donate them. And, in fact, where my wife's grandma lives in a retirement community, they're no longer taking donations. So wife had to bring back a couple boxes of books. I guess they're going to Goodwill. My wife makes fun of me, but I love magazines. She says that's how she can tell I'm actually getting into a hobby. The magazines start showing up. There you go. David says Beckett Vintage Collector is a pretty good magazine. I'll have to check that out. If they forget the prices, the Beckett articles are usually really good. Dan says, I think Beckett should launch a card store pilot program in 3 or 5 major cities where you could bring your cards to the shop for on-site grading and authentication, plus have a cool card store. That was I don't know if you brought that up last night, or maybe Ryan was talking about like grading companies just aren't at card shows. And I get why they're not at like the Madison card show where there's, 125 tables. It's a one-day show. It's probably not worth any time to travel, especially now with travel expenses. So I get it, especially, when you have a grading company that, your employees are isolated to, one area. But wouldn't it be cool? And I'm sure this couldn't happen, but if you have similar to what DR is mentioning, but you have kind of flyers, graders that, are situated not just in, where's PSA? I mean, PSA has a couple, they opened a warehouse in New Jersey, but say you have a guy in Chicago and he can do, some of the bigger local shows, the Spectacular, and, whatever else comes around, maybe, if there's a 2-day big show, or a 3-day weekend show, you have on-site grading. And I'm sure it's a logistical problem. And, is it worth, because even then, even if you're in Chicago, you may have some travel. You're going to have some type of travel expenses, no matter where you're at. But I wonder if that's worth it. And that's probably the number one question I get promoting the Madison Card Show, which, by the way, is coming up Saturday, June 25th at the Sheraton Hotel on John Nolan Drive. We're an hour and 2 minutes in with the first mention. Take a drink. John Nolan Drive, Madison, Wisconsin. That's the number one question I get promoting the show is, are there going to be graders on site? Now, we do have 5-star cards. They are they're an official, third-party dealer or whatever. They take submissions. So they're on site at the show, and they will, take your cards, and then they will submit them to PSA or SGC or CSG. So that's a step in the right direction. But yeah, wouldn't it be cool if you could take your cards and get graded? I know it's, in PSA or SGC, they can't be everywhere, but it would be, if there was, and I think that's probably, hiring graders is probably the most difficult part of running a grading company. Hiring good graders and keeping them, retaining them is probably the most difficult of all. Let's see. Skipping ahead here. Ed says that's insane. We're talking about the Topps Chrome prices on that comment. Good God, and people wonder why retail gets cleaned out. Yeah, and you're looking at, take Prism Football, for example, $1,600 hobby box at release, $35 for a retail box. Same with Bowman Baseball. Even though blaster boxes were raised to $35 per blaster box, when they're $400 for a hobby box, give me retail all day. Same with Topps Chrome. Easy pass, says Ed. Absolutely. Over $420 a box is a stupid price point. I agree. Card Hobbyist says, I used to flip books on Amazon. It's actually good money. Were you doing textbooks or just regular books? I love Beckett. I don't care if people rip me about it. Jenny says, well, good thing it's $420 a box, Herman, because you got to be smoking something to paying that for a box for 35 cards. What is a hobby box? I still have the screen up. 12 boxes per case, 24 packs per box, 4 cards per pack. So 24 packs per box times 4. What is that? 96 cards. 96 cards. So you're paying what? Almost $4 a card. One pallet gone. The Arizona one. Only North Texas is left. Card Hobbyist, me too. Pepino Man, I just hate that they haven't kept up with the times. Beckett Vintage Mag is legit. Sounds like Playboy, not Beckett. The article's right. I'm late, but is Bo's furniture preparing to attack? It's getting close. The walls are closing in. Let's see. Dan is asking George if he went to bed. If he doesn't answer, he's likely sleeping. George, wake up. So that's what I had for today. Did I Hall of Fame vote? Yes. Hall of Fame vote was the video is up in the chat. Victor, the rookie card specialist, posted that video. So check that out. John Keating's card, the 1960 Topps, Yaz, made the cut. I didn't write my notes on it. Let's see, there was nothing I was, because they were all 40 cards that were eligible for the Baseball Card Hall of Fame. Definitely all, worthy of induction. I think I was most surprised by a couple of the cards that didn't make the cut. And I guess I was and I wasn't. And it was it was the more modern cards, and I get, because I think we just tend to, when we think, I think the general perception might be vintage is more Hall of Fame worthy. Is that, I don't know if that's the right phrasing. But I voted for, and I wanted to split my voting, and you can watch my Hall of Fame live vote in one of my previous videos. And I kind of divided it up because I wanted representation from the eras. And I think I divided it into 3, like pre-war, vintage, and modern. So I had a couple of the modern cards, and I kind of went from, because I think, and I don't know if this was accurate, but one of the cards may have been like one of the first pack issued, like relics, the Ken Griffey Jr. I'm not sure. So I was a little surprised that some of those got as few votes as they did. But all in all 10 were worthy. And it'll be exciting to follow next year to see what 15 new cards will be on the ballot and in which 10 get in. So check out, great video from the guys, Victor, Ray, and Mike. Check that out on Ray from Philly's channel, and Victor has the link here in the chat. Let's see. Herman says, I hit the thumbs up before Bo showed up. Thank you very much. Do hit the like button if you have not already. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. John says, getting dropped from the ballot after 1 year is tough for the cards just nominated for the first time. Boom Slang is with us. What is up? Good morning to you. Oh, and I wanted to show off some cards. I started going through the Goodwill palette. So if you're not interested in my in showing off some 90s cards, this probably won't be for you. But I found like a bunch of, so this is from my Goodwill palette that I'm still going through. And I found some nice little surprises, most of which were early 90s minor league cards, which surprisingly have decent resale on eBay. But I also found some more modern cards. So I found a 2019 Topps Heritage short print Gleyber Torres. There was another short print of Jose Altuve. These were the only 2 short prints. So pretty good, Altuve and Torres. And then I think this was my favorite, Frank Schwindel, first Bowman, but it's the silver parallel numbered to 499. This was cool. This is about a $20 card right now. So I was very happy. Herman says, now we're in overtime. So I was pretty happy with this. Now, people will say, and I love Frank Schwindel, like personally, like friendship-wise. I love Frank Schwindel, like as a human being. He's an awesome dude. So that's what kind of, like, I can sell this for $20. It's not a Cubs card, and I don't collect non-Cubs cards. Now, I do have some in my collection, like Ryan Sandberg Phillies cards that were made, like one of his minor league cards. I have some Rizzo rookies. I kind of keep some early Andre Dawson cards around just because it's the Hawk. So some stuff like that. And I'm thinking of putting the Frank Schwindel in like a personal side PC because I love Frank the Tank. So this is going to be hard to part with if I decide to actually sell it. Another Cub. I love this card. Another awesome dude. If you ever get the chance to meet Ron Coomer, he is an awesome guy. And look at, this is just awesome 90s. This is from like 1994. It's a Fleer XL minor league card. He was an all-star for the Albuquerque Dukes. Just an awesome card. There was another one similar. Tony Clark, Detroit Tigers prospect back in the day. Let's see. Herman says, by the way, you have a 2021 Archives Acuna listed as Heritage. Interesting. Thank you for that. I will look into that. That's why I'm getting sick of Archives. Now I'm, even though I'm like deep into baseball cards, I still get Archives confused with Heritage often. Let's see. John says West Coast time here. He has to keep going so I can get my like buttons worth. So, if only you were that 90s show. If you were that 90s card show, John, you would like this. How about this? John, I tweeted last night. This is the John Lynch from football fame. Hall of Famer John Lynch as a footballer. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now he's the general manager with the 49ers. So he was actually a stud baseball player back in the day. He was a second-round pick in 1992. So there's actually a few of those. Let's see. How about this? Oh, Herman's going to like this one. Here XL. Chipper Jones with the Durham Bulls. John says, I have more 90s cards than any others, I suppose. So here we've got some more classic best. A lot of these will sell well. And when I say sell well, like I wouldn't encourage you to go out and buy thousands of 1992 classic best. But if you have them lying around, and if you're interested in doing volume on eBay or, selling a few here and there for a couple bucks, $2, some of these will sell. Names like Todd Van Poppel, of course, Chipper Jones will sell, but names like Todd Van Poppel, there's demand for these types of cards. Another guy, Brian Taylor, sells really well. I've probably sold 2 or 3 of this very card already, and I've got 2 more to list. Andy Pettit, borderline Hall of Famer. He's probably not going to get in. I think, is this next year his last year on the ballot, or was it last year? But he gets a significant amount of votes. Let's see. Carlos Delgado. Oh, here's a cool one coming up. It's Manny being Manny. Look at those shades. Let's see. That 70s card show says it'll be listed under 2004 Turkey Red. Hit me up when that goes. Must be a sunglasses thing. Jim Edmonds in shades. So these cards will likely go on eBay today. I think I'm going to do a file exchange on these baseball cards. I'm just going to try to find some more fun cards. Let's see. Carlos Delgado, Blue Jays. Let's see. Jim Edmonds. Here's Mike Schmidt. I know John's got to be somewhat of a Mike Schmidt fan, right? I know Diego's a Mike Schmidt fan. Here's another Brian Taylor. They actually had released an autograph version of this, which sells for $10 to $15. Brian Taylor does sell. Brian Taylor sells. This is always this was a hit. This was a huge hit, probably second to Brian Taylor when I was opening packs from 1992 Classic Best. Ken Griffey Jr. Now he was already established as a star in the big leagues, but this was kind of a throwback card. Ken Griffey Jr. in his minor league uniform. I got a few of those. That was a big hit. That and the Brian Taylor were probably the biggest hits. Here's Manny Ramirez in that same set, 92 Classic Best. I ripped a lot of these as a 10-year-old. Here's some more chippers, a couple chippers from Classic Best, again in the Durham Bulls uniform. Let's see. Here we go. Here we got 91 Line Drive, Jeff Kent, Blue Jays. John has several of the Brian autos. Throw those on eBay. I bet you can get $10 each for them. They surprisingly sell well. Todd Van Poppel, Huntsville Stars. Here's another Brave I pulled because he was a big name in the early 90s. Ryan Klesko, Greenville Braves, AA Southern League. Here's from the Canton Akron Indians, Jim Thome, Hall of Famer. They came with the certs, and yes, they came with the certs back then. Here's a name that I pulled out because I'm like, hey, I wonder if that's any relation to Rugned Odor. Rugless, not Douglas, Rugless Odor. This is actually is it Rugned? Rugned Odor? It's his uncle. And Rugless is actually, I think he may be the manager of the team he's in uniform here with right now, because I did have to Google him last night. And I think he's a manager in the Guardians now, Guardian system. Here's Ron Coomer rocking a stash. I had to pull that because it's Ron Coomer. Let's see. I had to pull a White Sox card for Zach to show off. Wilson Alvarez, Birmingham Barons. Another big hyped rookie back in the day, Hefty Bob Hamlin. He was American League Rookie of the Year back in, 92, 91, 93? Bob Hamlin, Omaha Royals. How about this? Minor league card of Bernie Williams, AAA Columbus Clippers. Card Hobbyist says, yeah, Klesko is hyped to be the next McGuire. Didn't happen. Here we've got Tino Martinez, Calgary Cannons AAA. So he was in the Mariners system. Another Rookie of the Year, Eric Karros, National League Rookie of the Year with the Dodgers. Hamlin was the next Ron Kittle. Jim Thome. Ooh, we got a whole bunch of Jim Thomes. This is, who's he with in this? Canton Akron Indians. Jim Thome. Another Jeff Kent card, Knoxville Blue Jays for Jeff Kent. Another fringe, gets votes in the Hall of Fame. Let's see. More Carlos Delgados. How about this? Brad Ausmus. Is he still a manager? Brad Ausmus. Can't remember where he was managing. So there's a bunch of Brad Ausmus. Here's a Mike Schmidt throwback with the Reading Phillies. And then there were some golds. So I did pull some golds because I think they'll sell. Jim Thome will definitely sell. Jim Thome Classic Best Gold. These were some big hits. Here's a Reggie Sanders signing autographs. BC is what these are. I don't know what that stands for. Todd Van Poppel. Man, if you would have pulled this in 1991, holy moly, college is paid for. 1991, you pull Todd Van Poppel gold out of a classic pack, your college is paid for. Or Ryan Klesko. You pull this bad boy, and you got a year's worth of rent and mortgage paid for. So those were some of the fun 1990s cards that I pulled out of some of the boxes from the Goodwill palette. Thome from where you were from. Yeah, near, yes. He grew up in Peoria. Went to Limestone Community High School in Bartonville, Illinois, and he actually owns some hunting ground just a few miles from where I lived. Peoria. So there, it seems like every hunting season, and he'll bring back like former, I'm trying to think of who has all come back. I think Andy Pettit, Fergie Jenkins hunts around there a lot. Was it Chipper Jones? I think there was an Atlanta Brave that always hunted there. It might have been Chipper. But every once in a while, Tim McGraw, you'll see photos like, oh, here Jim Thome and this guy were hunting, and they stopped at the local cafe in the town of 300 people nearby to have breakfast. So it's always fun to see, who Jim Thome and there's one other player that has hunting land out there, and I'm sure they're all from the same. Who I think it was Andy Pettit, and because one of my friends ran into him and texted me, and they're like, "Look who I ran into," and it was Andy Pettit, and it's going to drive me nuts all day. So anyway, I'll leave on that note, trying to remember who the hunting baseball pitchers were. So Tim Hudson, not Tim Hudson. John Rocker, not John Rocker. Let's see. I'll have to drawing a blank. I'll I'll have to go through Facebook and look. So that's what I had for today. Thanks for tuning in. Went an hour 20 today. That's like a long time. Probably not a record, but significantly longer than normal, which I had nothing to talk about today. Apparently that wasn't the case, which tends to happen when I don't have a topic. It's just kind of all over the place. So thanks for tuning in. If you haven't watched the Hall of Fame, the Baseball Card Hall of Fame vote, check that out. Victor posted the link in the chat. Hobby Hotline last night was great conversation as well. So check out those. I will be back on tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Central for a Thursday edition. Herman said, thanks for taking my mind off my wife's driving. Well, good luck the next few hours. The next couple hours you have. Safe travels to Herman on his way to Myrtle Beach. Enjoy the beach. Have a great rest of your Wednesday, and we'll chat tomorrow.